Hello, this is Tony Clarkson and Michael Reccia from the Joseph Communications, filmed at the Sanctuary of Healing, the home of Joseph. And today we're doing number 10 of these soul group messages. And so without further ado, I'll hand over to Michael and let's see what happens, what comes.
Thank you. The first communicator today is Jane's guy, who always comes through as a Mandarin, as a Chinese gentleman. I think he's been around me for a couple of days. I know broadly the theme that he's going to talk on, and I find it fascinating. But I always stop myself short of bringing through the entire length of the information until such time as they can take me over. So I know the first couple of lines of what he's going to say, roughly, but I know I'll expand on that, and I hope it's fascinating to you. It certainly is to me. And so if you'll bear with me for a moment, I'd like to allow this gentleman to move closer. And he's great gentleman, great sense of humour, a twinkle in his eye, and it's very uplifting to be able to connect with him. And he wants to explain something that perhaps many people wonder about today, and that's why often the soul group will say that it's difficult to get through to us, and that they can only operate for a certain amount of time before having to withdraw from this level. And he says, I want to talk about your thoughts. And I want to talk about how perhaps when you're watching television or working on your computer or sitting down to a meal, you will, from your point of view, think that you are still, that you are relatively still and focused. That's not the case. You have around you, that is part of you, an auric field, an aura. And that aura is moving. The colours within it move, but also you have within it, because of the many thoughts that you think and the many attractions you make via your thoughts, you have a number of different vibrations. And those different vibrations in the normal course of things during your normal day and night are vying for position dependent on the thoughts that you have at any one moment. So from our point of view, looking at your aura, we don't just see a moving sphere of colours, we also see a moving sphere of attractive vibrations, because your subconscious is constantly flitting from situation to situation, from state of being to state of being. In other words, at one moment you will feel happy, the next moment you will feel doubtful about something, the next moment you will feel worried, the next moment you will feel angry, and you are drawing from your past and your present all the time, subconsciously, little snippets of information that influence your mood. Now, those snippets of information are circling in your aura. So even at the times when you feel you're still, there is this maelstrom of thoughts swirling around in your aura as you select from your central point, which as a human being is around your heart area. As you select from your central point various thoughts that relate to your past and your present and change your mood and your perception, those thoughts swirl round into position around your heart from the maelstrom of thought that is contained within your aura. It is like watching a merry-go-round with a projector at its center. You are the projector and you are causing the merry-go-round of thought. This is why we advise you to become still through meditation, to become still, properly still spiritually. Because if you sit in a chair and watch television, you are not still. The circular movement of these thoughts is still going on within your aura. If you go for a walk, you are not still because you are taking with you your subconscious and conscious thinking. And those thoughts are being presented to you from this circular motion within your aura. Only when you decide to meditate and focus your mind and your heart do you truly become still, and the movement within your aura calms down. When you are on Earth, it never calms down to a complete stop, but it becomes slow enough for us to reach into that central point, that projector and that receiver, and to say, look, we're here, we can get through to you, we can contact you, we can communicate with you. And that might sound like a simple proposition now that I've explained it. But you also have to understand that your aura is circling, as you live on Earth, within the aura of humanity, within the consciousness of the field, the sentient field of human consciousness. Within imagine for a moment the sentient field of human consciousness that has had poured into it the moving predominant tendencies of humankind. So at any one moment, there is within the field of humanity 1 million different vibrations, most of them negative, most of them harmful from a spiritual perspective, most of them chaotic, most of them random. And each of you, as a human being, a spirit in human clothing, has this personal aura with thoughts and dominant tendencies circling within it. And then those auras mingle with the greater aura of the field of humanity that has millions of thoughts, billions of thoughts swirling round in it, circling. So for us, trying to communicate with you, trying to revisit this lower frequency of vibration in order to make our presence known, we have to first penetrate the field of humanity. What a task. I can only try and explain it in a visual to you. Imagine that you are stepping from a platform, from a train platform, onto a moving train. But that moving train is not going in a straight line, it is circling, it is spiraling. And once you are on that moving train, other trains are coming at you from all sides, from top, bottom, from sides, behind you, in front of you, and they are colliding with you and you have to avoid them. And then, within this moving train that is being hit by other moving trains, you have to find your contact. And your contact has this merry-go-round effect within their aura. So you have to maintain your position on the moving train, but also put one foot on the merry-go-round, and then you have to attempt to connect, whilst you are doing this balancing act, with the person, the spirit, at the center of this merry-go-round of thought, and present clarity of thought and concept and clear communication to them. Now, does that explain why it is so difficult for us to communicate with you? One of the questions that is asked is, why can I not see spirits? Why can I not communicate with spirits? If we are there, if you're there, why can we not communicate with you? Because it is dreadfully difficult for us to do so. We are a balancing act in trying to communicate with you. And of late, and we mentioned this at several points during the communication of the Joseph communications, the Earth has stepped down in vibration as a result of the negativity that is around you all at the moment, as a result of you accepting what is material and rejecting what is spiritual. And so the moving train is moving faster. The trains that are colliding with it are moving faster. Your personal aura is moving faster. And it is, from our point of view, where our vibration has to be slowed before we can even step off the platform on our side. It is an exhausting business attempting to communicate with you and to maintain balance. And we become exhausted, our energies become exhausted, and we have to step back off that moving train. We have to jump back onto the platform and retreat from your vibrations so that we can replenish ourselves, so that we can get on with our lives in our particular spheres, and so that we can communicate with you at a later date as you would measure it. You make our job easier when you truly become still. We still have to get onto the moving train, but you are easier to identify, you are easier to lock into, and you're far easier to communicate with because we don't have to fight your personal aura of thoughts in order to get through to you. So, meditation is perhaps a dirty word for many people, and yet it is vital that you meditate and slow your vibration and slow those thoughts if you truly want to be of use to us as a spiritual worker on earth, and if you truly want to understand more about the spiritual aspects of life. Because in disciplining yourself in this way, and in doing it daily and in doing it regularly, you open yourself up. You open yourself up as a channel to our connection. It is still difficult for us, and it is difficult for you, but it is less difficult because you've made your own personal world more available to us, more accessible to us. So I hope my little discourse today has illustrated why it seems so difficult for us to communicate with us, why we tell you that it is difficult for us to communicate with you, why we can only do it for a limited period, and why, if we are communicating through Michael, it is again a limited period, because he has learnt to slow his aura to almost a stop so that we can connect with him. But we have to push back, and we work as a team, we have to push back the moving trains that are around him. We have to push back the chaos of the field of humanity, and specific souls do this so that in this example today, I can concentrate on a communication that is maintained and is coherent and makes sense. And then we have to collapse all that, as I am about to do, because the next speaker wishes to speak. We have to collapse all that in order to withdraw successfully from Michael, and then the field closes in around him, and the chaos that is around each of you, he is returned to. I would invite you, the whole point of my discourse this morning is to invite you, one, to understand the difficulties that we have increasingly at this time in getting through to you, in bringing through the light to you, in bringing through higher communications to you. And two, to urge you to consider disciplining yourself and becoming an effective meditator. When you effectively meditate, when you focus your head mind on the heart, when you focus your heart mind on higher values and higher concepts, then you become of great use to us, and you become of great use to yourself. Because we can not only channel in communication, but we can channel in higher vibrations, healing vibrations, for example. Vibrations that will identify you on a subconscious level to others as a light that they can trust and come to for advice, for enlightenment, for upliftment. And these things are in short supply at the moment on earth. So thank you for listening to me. I have throughout this communication tried to impart joy and humor and upliftment through my words and through my vibration. And I hope that this will come across when eventually this discourse is made available to you in filmed form. I now wish to hand over to your second speaker today. And so I will withdraw with great gratitude for you allowing me to speak, and I will speak to you hopefully again in the near future.